Welcome to Rooted Agritourism. I'm Dr. Fiedler Mergen, owner of Sunny Mary Meadow, a you-pick flower farm, wedding florist, and event venue in central Minnesota. Our mission is to serve anyone rooted in agritourism, value-added agriculture, and rural entrepreneurship. The people turning ideas and raw products into thriving businesses and experiences. Let's dig in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Rooted Agritourism. I'm your host, Dr. Fiedler Mergen, and today I'm really excited to share that my book is finally available for presale. So if you have been here for a while, you know that I have been writing a book, a memoir, for years. I've been talking about it. Ultimately, I'm very proud of the message that it shares and what I hope helps others, if that makes sense. So it did not start out as the hopeful, reflective version that is coming out, but honestly, it started out pretty angry, if I'm being honest. I was suddenly widowed at 31. The next day I found out I was pregnant, and I sat down to write in those first 6 weeks because I didn't know what else to do with everything that I was feeling. And so for months, that book was kind of a journal, and it was a list of things that I wish people understood about grief and how lonely it feels when people don't know what to say. But I wrote that initial 20,000 words and I put it in my drawer. And for reference, 20,000 words is maybe 70 pages, something like that. And then I sat on it for about a year and a half. And then when I took it out later, it didn't feel like the book that I wanted to put out into the world, luckily. A lot of it was true, but it wasn't helpful and it wasn't healing. And I just kind of put it on hold. And life unfolded, and raising the girls and growing the farm and letting myself fall in love again and figuring out who I was becoming, I realized that the major story had changed because I had changed. And that's when the real book, the book that it is now, Flowers Bloom Anyway, started to take shape. Because the original title was Shit Not to Say When Someone's Husband Dies. And then I kind of turned it into a self-help book, how to move forward or how to. And I didn't really want to tell anyone how to grieve, and I didn't want it to be a self-help. And so this isn't a how to grieve book, and it's not really a sad memoir, but it's a story about what it looks like to rebuild your life when the one you planned is gone very suddenly. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I'm a planner. I don't take things to chance. That I'll be like, well, I mean, I don't know. We'll just see. Like, no, there's no we'll see. There's no we'll see about anything in my life except for this. And this is the story that I wished I had. And I wish I was able to read it when I was in the thick of everything. So I want to take you behind the scenes of how this book came to be, what it's really about, who it's for, and how you can be part of the launch and help support it. I want to talk about the farm because Sunny Mary Meadow is literally part of every single story. So a lot of you have followed my journey for a long time. This is not how the book started out, but the first draft was so angry, but that just isn't the story anymore. So I rewrote it. And this is just about living with that fear and instability and what moving forward actually looks like. So because Sunny Mary Meadow is so deeply tied to this book because it was my healing. And I know that many of you listening are farmers yourselves. You understand the strange comfort of having something tangible to work on and what that really meant for me. And it's something that just grows when everything else feels uncertain. And so when I started this farm, I wasn't trying to build a brand or, everything else that has come along with it and the enterprises. But I was honestly just trying to make this place mean something. I really felt like I was stuck with my late husband's family farm, and it was a noun, not a verb. It was a place with some old buildings. It wasn't a business, but I felt like I was stuck here. I felt like I had no choice. I had no choice but to stay here with my kids and raise them because my husband would literally haunt me if I sold it. So I wanted something that could just kind of hold the weight of everything that I was going through. And I wanted something I could point at and say, hey, look, something really good came of this. And this farm, I turned it into a place that I could show up even when I wasn't feeling well. It gave me structure, it gave me purpose, and eventually it gave me community. And so many of you that are listening are included it. So yes, it's a grief book, but it's also about farming and entrepreneurship and identity and raising children and learning how to live a full, joyful, really complicated life after something devastating. Because grief isn't just death. Grief is for anyone that it didn't go as planned, or, this isn't a grief book, it's a keep going book. And Sunny Mary Meadow isn't necessarily the background of this story. It really is the heartbeat of it. And I've been getting a lot of questions about who this book is meant for. And honestly, it's for a lot more people than you'd think. It's for anyone who's lost someone that mattered or something that mattered, whether that's a person, a relationship, a dream, or even a version of themselves. It's for anyone who's had to rewrite their life in real time. And it's for people who feel like they're in this season of and that's where I live, is in this season of and. I'm okay and I'm still hurting. I'm rebuilding and I still miss him. I'm happy and I'm sad at the same time. And it's also for entrepreneurs and farmers who listen to this show. Those of you who know what it feels like to make something out of nothing, to take something broken or uncertain and turn it into something thriving. And it's for people who love stories, people who see what resilience looks like in real life and not just in Pinterest quotes. And this book is not a manual. It's definitely not a list of step-by-steps or advice, because trust me, I would write that book way differently, but it's a story. And it's one that I hope you can see pieces of your own story inside of it. And, the publishing, I wrote drafts, I rewrote drafts. I had a moment where I was sure a year ago today, I was sure that no one would ever read it. And then one day it all just fell into place. I signed a contract with a publishing company, and suddenly this thing that I'd quietly been working on for years became a real book, and there's a real team behind it. And it officially, publication date is March 3rd, 2026. But today, as this episode comes out, is when pre-orders open. So in March, it'll be available on bookstores, hopefully nationwide. But that really depends on how these pre-orders go. So pre-orders matter so much more than you realize, because they determine how many books get printed. They see how many people want the book, how many bookstores want to carry it. And that's the kind of reach that we build. So it feels really surreal to say this out loud, but these pre-orders really matter. So it's available wherever books are sold. But right now we are directing everyone to Barnes & Noble pre-order link. And that link is in the episode notes, or you just type in Flowers Bloom Anyway at Barnes & Noble. But it helps with the overall placement and visibility. And that's the link that makes the biggest difference at this stage right now. So you can find the link in my show notes, on my website, on my Instagram bio. If you follow me in any way, shape, or form, you'll see it, I promise. But if you've been planning on buying the book, pre-ordering it now is the way that helps. It helps way more than waiting until launch day in March. So we also launched something called the Bloom Crew, which is basically a new name for the waitlist. So if you're already on the waitlist for the book, you're part of the Bloom Crew. We're just changing the name, but you're going to get some emails on how to support the book, when to share, what to share, graphics to use, ways to reach out for your local bookstores, local libraries, all of those things. We have a lot of stuff coming over the next month of shareable graphics, and I'm really excited that there's a lot of interviews and interests, and there's a lot of journalists that have talked about the book and some other really fun things, but just a lot more conversation on the podcast of grief and resilience and entrepreneurship and agritourism and motherhood and rebuilding and just complicated beauty of starting over. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your support of the farm, of the podcast, of my story. And it's the whole reason that this book exists. I wrote it alone, but I didn't live it alone. So many of you have been here through every chapter of this journey, and Sunny Mary Meadow helped me heal. This community helped me grow. And now Flowers Bloom Anyway is the thing that I'm offering back to you all. It's a story that I hope will help someone else keep going on the days that they don't feel like it. Pre-orders are open, and truly thank you for helping me bring this story into the world. So until next time, bloom and grow.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Rooted Agritourism. If you enjoyed it, please leave a 5-star review and share it with someone who would find it helpful or inspiring. Your support helps us reach more rural entrepreneurs, dreamers, and doers just like you. You can explore all of our resources at sunnymarymeadowcoaching.com, where you'll find each episode in blog form along with free resources to help grow your business. You'll also find info on upcoming on-farm and virtual workshops, classes, and courses. Be sure to check out our monthly membership, Foundations of Peddling Perishable Products,
products, where you'll get access to a full library of our original course content, plus ongoing support through monthly virtual meetups with others in the industry. Just click the link in the show notes or our bio to learn more. We'd love to have you join us. Until next time, keep growing with purpose and stay rooted.